I like wearing suits. You know, they make you feel confident. In fact, I've come here to buy a good designer suit for myself. And they have a good collection. But there is a slight problem. The one that I've liked is a little expensive. But actually, that's not much of a problem. I don't need one immediately. I can wait. And with time, a few things will change. The collection will change and the prices will change. And I think there's a good probability that the prices will come down. So, for the time being, let's play the waiting game of probability. Hello everyone and welcome to Math with me, Pawan. And here we are again, all set to take the theory out of theorems. But then what is the probability of doing so? Well, we are about to start. So unless there is a natural disaster or an alien attack, I'm pretty sure we have good odds of starting. However, more appropriately, I have this bottle, but I lost its cap somewhere and I had no time to hunt. So I collected all the caps that were lying at my place. Now you see, I might not get a cap that fits it. Or maybe I get at least one or two caps. Or all for that matter. Now before I get into this cap business, let's first look at our schedule for today. We will first start with a revision of basic concepts of probability done earlier. Then we will solve some problems on probability. And finally, we will go through the exam decoded section. To get a good deal of understanding of a subject, you need to have your basic fundamentals in place. So before we move on to the problems on probability, we first take up the relevant definitions, terms and terminologies. Here they are. First, a sure event. As the name suggests, it's an event that is sure or certain to occur. The probability of such an event is 1. Impossible event. The name speaks for itself. It's an event which is impossible to occur. And the probability of an impossible event is 0. Why? You all must have played snakes and ladders, right? On throwing a dice, the event of getting a number greater than 0 is a sure event. Hence, its probability is 1. But the event of getting a number less than 0 or more than 6 is an impossible event. Hence, its probability is 0. Easy? Coming down to equally likely events. Now, do you remember events that are equally likely? Hint is as simple as the answer to my question. Either you know it or you don't know it. Okay, let me make it loud and clear. In a given experiment, if two or more events are equally likely to occur or have equal probabilities, then they are called equally likely events. For example, on tossing a coin, the probability of getting a head or a tail are equal, hence equal to 1 by 2. Hence these two events are equally likely events. And next we have the complementary events. Two events A and B are said to be complements of each other if the sum of their probabilities is 1. But the opposite is not true. The complement of event A is denoted by A bar, and we have the relation P of A plus P of A bar equals 1. Fine. Now that the groundwork is done, let's get on with a few problems on probability. And here is the first one. Two coins are tossed together. What are the probabilities of getting A, 2 tails, B, 2 heads, C, 1 head, D, at least 1 head, E, no head, F, at most 1 head? Fine, let's go slowly. First of all, in total we have 4 possible outcomes. HH, HT, TH, TT, where H is, as you would have guessed, heads and T is tails. So the outcomes favoring 2 heads is HH. For 1 head, it is HT and TH. And for no heads or 2 tails, it is TT. Now the first part, the probability of 2 tails equals 1 by 4. Similarly, probability of 2 heads equals probability of HH, which is 1 by 4. Now for one head, we have HT and TH. So the probability of one head equals probability of HT comma TH, or 2 by 4, or further reduced to half. Now P of at least one head equals P of HT, TH, HH, which equals 3 by 4. And P of no heads is P of TT, or 1 by 4. And probability of at most one head is P of HT, TH, TT, which is 3 by 4. Now that was an easy and straight numerical. Let's take a word problem with a slightly higher level of difficulty. I know you can handle it. Rekha tosses a 1 rupee coin 3 times and wins the game only if she gets the same outcome every time. Now we have to figure out what are the different chances of Rekha winning or losing. So what are you waiting for? Let's figure this out. Now on tossing a coin, we can either get a head or a tails. So after 3 tosses, we get 8 final outcomes, which are HHH, HHT, HTH, THH, HTT, THT, TTH, and TTT. Now clearly there are only 2 outcomes in favor of Rekha's winning, HHH or TTT. Let E be the event that Rekha wins. Therefore, using P of E equals number of outcomes favorable to E divided by total number of outcomes, we have P of E, which is P of Rekha wins, equals 2 by 8 or 1 by 4. And since P of E plus P of E bar equals 1, so P of E bar equals 1 minus P of E, or 1 minus 1 by 4, which is 3 by 4. Therefore, probability that Rekha loses equals 1 minus 1 by 4, which is 3 by 4. Seems now you're getting the grip on the topic. Let's stretch our limits a little more and try this last problem before we take a much needed break. If you're a cards person, you might pull out a trick or two from this one. Sahil draws a card from a pack of 20 cards numbered 1 to 20. Find the probability that the card bears a number which is even, odd, prime, divisible by 3, and divisible by 5. Now let's move to the answer. The question says that the total number of cards is 20. Beginning with the probability of a card bearing an even number, let's take all the even numbers from 1 to 20. And what are they? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, and 18. And of course 20. Now this makes it a total of 10. Therefore, using P of E equals number of outcomes favorable to E divided by total number of outcomes, we have P of a card bearing an even number equals 10 by 20, or 1 by 2. Similarly, we take the odd numbers now, and what do we have? 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17, and 19. And once again, we have 10 of them. So P of odd number equals 10 by 20, or half. Let's now move to the prime numbers, which are 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19. And there are 8 of them. So P of a prime number equals 8 by 20, or 2 by 5. Now numbers divisible by 3 are 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, and 18. And that makes it 6. So P of a number divisible by 3 equals 6 by 20, or 3 by 10. And the numbers divisible by 5 are 4. And what are those 4 numbers? 5, 10, 15, and 20. So P of numbers divisible by 5 equals 4 by 20, which is 1 by 5. I keep talking all the time, but I never stop you from voicing your questions as well. So if you have one, you can indeed raise it like our caller has. Let's have a look.
Hello sir, I am Sumit. In the beginning of the show, you said that probability affects market. Can you please give me an example to explain this?
Yes, of course, Sumit, but after this tiny little break. So while I find a good example for you, you go refresh yourself for more that is coming up. I'll be back soon.